Welcome to Supersizing Bliss, the podcast, where I, Toby Witte, read from my book Supersizing Bliss, How We Have Betrayed Our Homes and the Happiness We Seek. Here's the next chapter. McMansions. If you find yourself driving through older single-family neighborhoods of American cities, you might see smaller bungalows, shotgun, mill, or various other traditional houses disappearing and making room for big, multi-story infill residences. These tend to fill out their property and dwarf their neighbors. Often they seem to ruin the very quaint neighborhood mood most of us are drawn to in the first place. You might ask yourself, why do builders build so big? The drivers are two numbers, square feet and the zip code. Banks finance the majority of houses currently sold. They are, in fact, owned by banks. Another myth to bust is that you are really not a house owner. You are maybe a partial house owner at best. The bank's vehicles of choice are mortgages and construction loans. And if there's the lending of money, there is a real estate appraiser. I should not miss the opportunity to inform you that the etymological origin of the word mortgage is a dead pledge. Go figure. The financial institutions issue a request for an independent appraisal immediately after you ask for a mortgage. They want to know what the house is worth before they hand out any money. It makes sense. It is not surprising, given the sporadic conservative nature of these institutions, that they prefer measurable metrics. The ubiquitous nature of our suburban landscape comes in handy. If everything is the same, we can compare the particular comfortably with the general. And so it is also not surprising that the appraisal largely measures the two numbers of square feet and zip code. We compare these houses with their size and their location. If there are plenty of houses around ours that look the same and have been sold for a certain price, then ours should be worth the same. If there's more of that house, then it should be worth proportionally more. The house owners do not enter the equation outside of their proof of a sufficient financial background and promising cash flow. They are mere conduits between the banks and the developer's business. They might be considered as insured users and free stewards of the bank's investments. The house owners are reduced to cogs in a business transaction without a say in the matter. They are financial backstops, custodians of other people's business interests. When builders find an empty property in an existing neighborhood surrounded by smaller and much older houses, they are immediately faced with an uphill battle. There isn't good value close by to be compared to. Additionally, they face another issue. Since the majority of our houses are being pumped out fast and repetitively, they can be built cheaply. The entire residential building industry is geared toward that mindset, from distribution and availability of materials to the skill level of labor. This particular assembly line is fine-tuned to spitting out these lifeless houses fast and cheaply by the millions. If you work on a one-off, everyone is asked to slow down and scratch their head. And with it, the cost of construction rises. For every head scratch, you are on the hook for another $1. A good framing crew of 4 or 5, for instance, can pump out an average house within a few days. With all the studs, wood panel sheathing on the exterior, a few rolls of tar paper and housing wrap, they create a thing that will look close to the final product. There are no surprises and no questions to be asked. And if something should not quite line up, they just find the solution on the fly. One working week and the entire house is framed. Just imagine throwing a monkey wrench into that. One innocent consideration of, let's say, a special porch roof for the entry with a handful of crafted details can nearly double the time this crew will need to work on a house. The framing of an entire house costs as much in labor and takes as long as a small special detail. Since our houses are built on the cheap and the older neighborhoods might offer questionable comps, builders are confronted with some stark realities when they consider an infill lot. The cost of land plus the increased cost of construction will make the house more expensive than its neighbors. And so the solution becomes to inject empty calories, that is, a multitude of empty square feet with a number of amenities and expensive rooms, such as bathrooms and kitchens, staying the same. It is a process that provides us with a bonus room and large open living spaces, or oversized bedrooms, closets, and storage spaces. In defense of these builders, our ingrained nonsensical and industrial housing practices force them to build McMansions. As for the zip codes, we should add here briefly that they are valued either completely arbitrarily or intentionally to focus wealth into the pockets of a few. Through our past century, our financial institutions have developed red-lined maps with districts deemed unsuitable for issuing loans to, from neighborhoods inhabited by newly minted Italian-American citizens to those of African-American descent and many in between. This practice, though no longer legal, had lasting consequences. Besides inequality in wealth and opportunities built by the few on the backs of many, it influenced enduring higher evaluations of some zip codes over others. And where our power-hungry, greedy past does not suffice, we try it with fads and hype. We know of the neighborhoods that are trendy and desired, simply because we tell ourselves they are. Average house prices shot up nearly 52% from 2015 through 2019 in McLennan County, Texas, home to Waco and the popular HGTV show Fixer Upper with Chip and Joanna Gaines, simply for our need to keep up with the Joneses. I'm your host, Toby Witte, author of Supersizing Bliss, How We Have Betrayed Our Homes and the Happiness We Seek. Please go to supersizingbliss.com to order a copy of my book and find more information. When I don't talk to you, I design sexy, modern, sustainable homes in North and South Carolina and adjacent areas. Subscribe, leave a comment, and click on the links in the show notes.